Before there was a king, there was a boy, a quiet boy, unknown and unremarkable, raised by knights, taught humility, not glory. His name was Arthur. One morning, while frost clung to the fields of Logres, a crowd gathered in the market square. There stood a stone, gray, cracked with age, and in it a sword, cold, untouched, daring anyone to try. Many did, lords with crimson cloaks, knights with thunderous names. All failed. Then came Arthur, small, steady, no title. He didn't shout. He didn't pray. He simply stepped forward. Some say the wind stopped. Some say the birds fell silent. He gripped the sword, and with one pull, came free, not with effort, but with acceptance, as if the blade had been waiting not for strength, but for someone worthy. And so the boy became a king, or so the stories go. But that sword was not Excalibur. That was the sword in the stone, a symbol of birthright. The true sword, the sword of kings, had yet to rise from the waters. In the first year of Arthur's reign, war came like a storm. One by one, the kingdoms of Albion tested the boy who called himself king. His sword, the same pulled from the stone, was not made for endless battle. Cracked, then broke, and so Arthur turned to the only one he trusted more than steel. Merlin. "Come," the wizard said. "There is a blade older than kings, one that chooses who may wield it." Together, they rode to a lake hidden in the northern woods, a place untouched by time. The trees were silent, the water still. As Arthur approached the shore, the mist thickened. Then it parted, and the lake began to glow. A hand rose from the surface, pale, delicate, holding a sword unlike any before. The blade shimmered like moonlight on glass, etched with ancient runes, wrapped in enchantment, and above all, waiting. Some say the hand belonged to a goddess. Some say a spirit of Avalon. But no one denied. This was a gift and a warning. Arthur stepped forward. His fingers met the hilt, and the moment he touched it, the wind changed. Thunder rumbled from clear skies. The birds fled the trees, and Merlin whispered, "Remember this moment, for every gift from the gods bears a price." With Excalibur in hand, Arthur no longer feared the battlefield. Enemies who once mocked the boy king now trembled at his name. The sword did not simply cut, commanded. Blades shattered before it. Banners fell at the sight of it. His knights followed not Arthur, but the sword he bore. "The king holds Excalibur," they whispered. "He cannot fall." But the sword did more than win wars. Changed him. Court Arthur grew silent. Eyes once warm were now cold steel. He smiled less, listened less, and always the sword remained at his side. Even during council, even during sleep, Merlin saw it, the way Arthur's fingers twitched near the hilt. Even when he spoke of peace. "Beware," he warned, "when a king no longer carries a sword, but the sword carries the king." Some nights, the blade glowed faintly in the dark, as if it breathed, as if it watched, and Arthur, he spoke to it, softly, words no one else heard. What was once a gift, now whispered back. As Arthur grew more distant, others filled the silence. His queen Guinevere walked the halls alone, once cherished, now unseen. His most loyal knight, Lancelot, watched from afar, a protector, a friend, a man torn between oath and heart. Their closeness began in whispers, shared glances, quiet walks. No sin, not yet, but Camelot watches everything, and what begins in silence often ends in fire. One night, beneath the high windows of the chapel, they met, not as lovers, not yet, but the moment Lancelot took her hand, the future changed. In that instant, the fate of the kingdom bent like a branch under too much snow. Rumors spread, fast, poisonous. Some say Arthur heard them and said nothing. Others claim he already knew, but chose to deny it. What is certain is this: the greatest knight in the realm, and the queen who once warmed the throne, had crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. And in the shadows watching, a sorceress smiled. Morgana, half-sister to the king, daughter of chaos, and patient architect of ruin. For betrayal is not born overnight. It waits, it watches, and it blooms. While kings feasted and knights drank to their victories, Morgana watched in silence. She was not welcome in Camelot, not truly, not since her mother died and her bloodline was called unholy. Yet she bore Arthur's blood, his half-sister, born not of prophecy, but of secrets and sorrow. She studied not swords, but spells. While others fought battles in fields, she fought them in the stars, in fire, in whispers carried by ravens. She saw what the others could not, a kingdom crumbling from within. Arthur distracted by glory, Guinevere haunted by love, Lancelot torn in silence. And in that fracture, she found her purpose. Some say she loved Arthur. Others say she hated him. But Morgana did not act from emotion. She acted from vision. She dreamt of a world without thrones, without golden crowns or sacred swords. A world remade through magic, not blood. And as the people of Camelot slept beneath their stained-glass saints, Morgana prepared a different future, one not written by kings, but carved by witches. Deep beneath her tower, she called upon the old gods. She whispered forgotten names, and the earth listened. For every sword drawn in daylight, a shadow sharpens in the dark. The sky was black with smoke. The fields once green now burned red. On the plain of Camelot, brother faced brother, friend faced friend, and Arthur faced his own blood. Mordred, born of betrayal, forged in Morgana's shadow. Some say he was Arthur's son, others just a vessel of wrath. What is certain is that he came with fire in his eyes and hatred in his sword. Arthur led what remained of his loyal knights, not for glory, not for conquest, but to end the chaos. Excalibur gleamed one final time, like a dying star. The two armies clashed. Steel rang out, shields shattered, and in the center of it all, father and son met, alone. Mordred struck first. Wild, furious. Arthur blocked, countered, then silence. One final blow. Arthur drove Excalibur through Mordred's chest. As Mordred drove his blade into Arthur's side, the two fell together, like a prophecy fulfilled. The battlefield was quiet, just wind and crows. Camelot had won, but its king was dying. The sword that built a kingdom had drawn its last blood. The battle was over. The fields were still, and the king was dying. His wounds were deep. No healer could mend them. Not even Merlin dared try. They carried Arthur from the field, his armor cracked, his breath shallow. "Take me to the lake," he whispered, and so they did. Only one knight remained at his side, Sir Bedivere, loyal to the last. "The sword," Arthur said, "it must return to where it came from." Bedivere hesitated. He looked at Excalibur, its blade stained, its light fading. Could such a gift be cast away? But the king insisted, so Bedivere walked to the shore and raised the sword high. For the last time, the weight of it was not in the steel, but in everything it had done. He threw it, and the blade spun through the air, silver, holy, eternal. Then a hand rose from the lake, pale, silent, caught the sword without a sound, and vanished beneath the surface. The waters stilled, as if nothing had ever happened, and Arthur smiled. "It is finished." Some say he died there. Others say a boat came, cloaked in mist, and took him to Avalon, to sleep, not die, until the world needs him again. Camelot did not fall in a single night. It eroded, slowly, silently. The throne still stood, but it was empty. The round table, once the heart of unity, became a circle of suspicion. Guinevere disappeared. Lancelot vanished. Some say they ran. Others say they were banished. The people whispered of Avalon, but none knew if it still listened. Excalibur was returned, but it did not rest. The Lady of the Lake accepted it, and then the waters grew still, too still. The sword sleeps now, but sleep is not peace. It waits, and something else watches the lake.